Jenna, do you mind shooting her a text, and maybe she's in a closing, or I see Brandon there.
Let's go, Tyler.
Yeah, let's go. So anyway, thank you all for being here. So before we get into our awesome training for today, I want to take a step back and just imagine we had a phenomenal finish to the year, many deals, and many were quite profitable. So imagine the perfect deal where you had full finance reserve, you get the customer to finance, you made all the reserve, you sold an extended service contract, you sold sealant, you bound the haul insurance. So think about that one deal that just hit every mark along the way. Customer was in the office and they had a world-class experience, right? We all have that one deal as of, the last couple of weeks to say, I did it every step of the way. So in the chat feature, just share one thing that you did exceptionally well to get those results with that deal. So I'm not going to pick on the first one. It looks like Mike beat us to it. I'm going to go down to Carlos. You said building a relationship early. Do you mind just elaborating a little bit on what you mean by that?
Yeah, I think I know kind of Mac Capiello and Emilio, that's something they say they try and reach out to the customer within 15 minutes of getting the deal. So that's kind of my plan or my threshold that I'm trying to stick to whenever we cap a deal. And really it's come down to building that relationship early, communicating, getting informed, especially when it's a finance deal, there's a lot of communication. So just stay on top of them, making sure we're walking there, holding your hand every way of the process. And usually on those deals, when they come in the office, it's not a matter of if I'm going to sell them something, it's what am I going to sell them? And that's, it's just the confidence of knowing you've got that relationship, they're going to trust you and, take what you're selling them.
Yeah, well said. And there's a lot of great responses in here. I'll just pick on one more because I think it's that important. Matt Capiello said, made a connection with the customer. How do you do that, Matt, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, it's the main way I've been doing it is I have a little form that I have that the top question on the form, I put it, it's like my little CRM for my folder. The first question is format, and I go to the salesperson to get that information before I reach out to the customer. And I force them to sit down with me and do a dump of what they know from their relationship they built with the customer. Because sometimes they've spent hours, weeks, or months with them. And I'm trying to get an edge on making that connection quick and early based on the information that they were able to gather already.
So whether it's a thumbs up with your hand or using one of the reactions, if you all think that making a connection early is paramount in the deal being the most profitable, let's see it, right? So I think that's a big thumbs up. I think we absolutely need to build trust, like someone said, communicate, use the process, really all of the above. And so the last time we were together, I asked the group how common was remote closings. And I think overwhelmingly, not saying for everybody specifically, that remote closings are more and more common. And with a remote close, it's no secret that our income opportunity is still there, but it's even more challenging. So we bring you today powerful training to help us do all of these things that we said in person, to do it remotely with customers from the comfort of their own home, if that's how they want to do it. We want to deliver that world-class experience, but also maximize the income on the deal. We can absolutely do that if we focus and think a little bit differently. So with that, I want to introduce to you Rick Gallegos. He's the CEO of the Dale Carnegie Institute of Tampa. And Rick, take it away for us.
All right. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it very much. Let's see. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully all you're doing very well and fired up today, ready to get started. If you can see the screen, give me a thumbs up. Just give me a quick thumbs up. You can see the, there you go, great. So just a little housekeeping before we start today. If you would, you may want to make my PowerPoint slide a little bit smaller. You can drag it over a little bit. And then you can make the screen of the people pretty good size. You can see everyone, so you can expand that out. You want to make sure that you open up your chat. So if you have chat available, click on that and open that up if you would. And I'm going to open this a little wider so I can get some more people on here. Okay, good, good. So we're getting everything kind of set up there. And you can see that. So I've got most of you here on the screen. Give me one more second to set this up and I'll be ready to go. Okay, really good. Okay, really good. So today, I'm going to give you a few tips today about how to improve your ability to sell virtually. I wrote a program for Dale Carnegie called Virtual Selling, How to Build Relationships Online. And today we're going to share with you some of the greatest hits or best parts of that program to really help you and make you more effective. So we start with the fundamentals in this program to help you. And the first part is really how to build our presence. You know, the presence we have when we interact with MarineMax customers, it's very, very important. Dale Carnegie used to say that when people view you, they determine trust in 4 ways. The first thing is kind of what we do. You know, are we on time? Are we prepared? How we look is the second thing. Let me grab my annotation tools for this stuff to show you something on this. How we look is kind of the our personal impression. We're going to talk about that today, about how we look, what we say. Are we concise? And then the last thing is really going to be how we say things. Are we boring or are we more excited? You know, which one of those is really kind of how we present. In the chat, if you would, which one of these is most important to you? When you evaluate someone to build trust online, which one of those 4 do you think is most important for you? Put the note there real quick of which one you'd think it would be, and we'll share a couple of those. Now they're coming in quick. All right, so Michael, you said prepared. So Michael, come on audio if you would, and tell us, why did you say prepared?
Well, I think if you are trying to develop that relationship online and you don't have everything together, and let's just say you aren't able to answer their question, or you don't have all your facts based on what you're trying to sell them and to help develop that relationship, it just goes to show that you don't maybe know what you're talking about. You don't have all your ducks in a row. And to me, that's professionalism. If you have all that if you have all that together, it impresses the customer. It shows them you're on top of things, you know what you're talking about, and that helps to build that trust.
Michael, you do that a lot. Do you get yourself well prepared to make sure that you've got everything in
Always.
line? Yeah.
Always. That's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, I think online it's a lot tougher, Michael, that you have to really do the extra work online, where in person you can grab something or pull up a file, but online it's a little tougher. So I appreciate you saying that. Right on the money for that. Matt, you put there how we say it, how I evaluate someone. Tell us about that.
So one thing that I've tried to learn about myself is through the caliper test, my aggression was leading my assertiveness, and that created more of a sales feeling to the way that I presented something. And so
Yes.
I've tried to reverse that, where my assertiveness leaves my aggressiveness and doesn't come off as I'm actually trying to sell somebody something, and maybe more of a recommendation that I think that they should take advantage of.
So how do you do that? How do you convert that assertiveness first and other side second? What's one way you do that?
Trying to understand their boating experience, maybe their maintenance experience in the past, and finding something that I could paint a story of instead of trying to point out features and benefits like a sales pitch.
Yeah, very good. Well, I'm sharing this with everyone because this is how they evaluate you. When your clients watch you virtually, they're evaluating, are you prepared? You know, how you say that. So today we're going to really work on a couple of these areas. We're going to focus on these 2, which is going to be how we look, you know, what's our presence, our image, and then how we say things online to make sure we're really getting that connection with our clients. All right, so to help today, we're going to work on 4 things that are really important areas. Are going to be camera, microphone, lighting up here, and background. Let's take a look at it. So the first tip is on the webcam. So if you take a moment and read these 5, just take a second and look at the 5 areas. In the chat, which one of these have you heard before? You say, I've heard this one before, Rick. And this one came up. I've already heard this. So put in there in chat, which one of those 5 do you think are pretty important? You can we're gonna let you teach a little bit about the importance of these. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, Stephanie, you got 1 through 4, right? Way to go. So she got multiple solutions there. Okay, so a lot of you are saying, look at the camera. Matt, you put there, look at the camera. Tell me about that one. Why is that important for us to do that? Why is it effective?
I think if you're not looking at the camera, you're not addressing, you know, who you're talking to or who you're working with. I think if you're looking off or at your screen or elsewhere, that you're not engaging with them, or that their perception is that you're not engaging with them. So
how many agree with Matt? Give me a raised hand. Boy, you say I totally agree with Matt. You know that he's on the money there, right? So, Matt, what's the danger if we don't look at the camera? What's the impact on the client if we don't do that?
That they don't have our attention and that their time is not important to us. And if their time is not important to us, why are they going to give it to us? And I think that they'll be more along the lines of, are we done yet? Instead of, I don't know. I think the dynamic there, the context of what you say is lost. And it's, you know, it goes back to, you know, not only looking at the camera, but how you say things, how you structure it, and how you address them and communicate.
Yeah, excellent. It sends a subconscious signal to the client that they're not that important. Okay. It'd almost be like this, Matt. When I'm talking to you, be like me saying, "Hey, Matt, you know, how you doing today? Good. Yeah, that's great. Hey, great, man. You got any big vacation set up? Yeah, good. Yeah. What I'm saying is what? You're not that important, right? So we have to connect everyone, and it's not easy to do. In chat, why is it difficult to talk to the camera? If you'd please put an idea in chat. Why is it hard to do that, to look at the camera while you're talking the entire time? Yeah, we're going to do a lot of this today, everybody. A lot of chat, a lot of ideas. Yeah, Mike says used to looking at someone. Matt says he's got 3 screens going on, so that could be it. The location of the camera. So that's a good one. Is it Marin? Is that correct? Marin? Who is that?
Yeah, Marin.
Marin? Okay, so why is it tough, Marin? So I want to make sure everybody understands before we move forward. Why is it difficult?
Well, like, for example, like mine, I have mine as a laptop and I've got 2 bigger screens on the side. So a lot of times my information is over here versus being right in the center. And then you also kind of want to look at the customer, which is probably going to be off down here, depending on where they are in the Zoom meeting and things like that, instead of dead on. So you're almost kind of, you don't even get to see yourself if you're looking right at the camera because you're trying to look somewhere else. Yeah, it's just gets a little difficult.
Yep, I got it. So there's distractions, everyone, that keeps us away from this. So let's go to some fundamentals, all right? Number 1, keep your face centered, right, if you can. And if you look at everyone right now, you can see that you've done a pretty good job with that, but your face should be centered in your screen, all right? Number 2, get rid of background distractions if you can help that. Smile. And here's the number 1 mistake I see a lot. The camera should be at eye level. I should not be able to see your ceiling in your shot. Okay. If I can see your ceiling, you need to raise up your camera, get some books, something underneath it, get it up higher so it's at eye level, right? That'll be the couple of the key things for that. All right, let's try it out. So everybody, if you would, go on mute. If you would, everybody get on mute. Looks like most of you are. Introduce yourself right to the camera, and you're on mute, and do it so what's your name, location, why do you love MarineMax? Do it right to the camera while you do this. Ready? On 3, 3, 2, 1, let's go, give it a shot. Good, all right, good, you're doing good. All right, super. So I'm watching all of you. You're leaning forward a little bit. Very good, very good. All right, that was good. So we want to talk to the camera and make that a mental note that we're looking at the camera the entire time. Number 2 is going to be microphone. How good is your microphone? So how many are using a laptop today? Raise your hands up. You're just using a basic laptop, okay? That's standard, right? that will give you pretty good audio. And Apple is even better sometimes for audio. I use a desktop mic. So today I'm using a Samson mic. Let me show you the whole thing. It's a little microphone that I use on my desktop, right? $100, a Samson G-Track Pro to give me a little bit better audio. And you'll notice that I can bring the sound down a little, bring it back up right on the dial and get it really dialed in just right. Audio is important. We want to listen to our recordings to see how good is our audio, because that's going to impact your conversation. I want to make sure that's right. Now let's talk about backgrounds. In the chat, what should a background, what would be a poor background? Put in chat one idea of what you think would be a poor background. What would affect a background, make it poor? Other people, window, cars driving by, clutter, dark closet looking background, good, damaged wall, all the above. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture of the worst background I've ever seen, all right? Okay, this is a BBC reporter here in this one, okay? Tell me, everybody, what is wrong with this background? Oh, let me go back one. What is wrong with this gentleman's background here? Is it Al? Is that right? Is it Al? Come on, audio Al. Tell us what's wrong with this background. What's the guy doing here?
It's horrible. It looks like he's either moving in or he's moving out. Either way, it's a mess.
Yeah, I think he's at his mommy's house, to be honest, down in the basement, right? So, Al, what happens when we have a distracting background? What happens to the customer perception when it's distracting like that?
Well, first of all, they're going to think this guy's here is a slob.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, it is a distraction. So everything that he's saying, they're probably looking at the blanket back there, the open drawer, the table, all the mess that's back there. So you're going to lose your client.
That's exactly right. So keep in mind, everyone, that when you're in a virtual meeting, they're going to be looking at your background as much as looking at you, and it's distracting. Michael put he loses credibility. Exactly right. By not having that. And that's a real picture. That's not a Photoshop picture. That's a real shot I got back in April when I was building this program for Dale Carnegie. So backgrounds, everybody, we want it clean and non-distracting, all right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we evaluate that. Let's talk about lighting, okay? So these are the different issues of lighting you fall into. Typically, if you have a window in your house, it can be good or bad. If you can face the window, it's great. If it's behind you, it's terrible, right? And tell me, everybody, use the number system. Which lighting number am I experiencing right now? 1 through 6, put it in chat. I'm thinking, okay, so 5, 6, yep, I'd say it's probably mark around 2 or 3, right? That's probably where I'm at right now for me personally. Okay, now let's do this. How about, I can't turn up any brighter, but that's pretty bright for me, right? So take a look at your video picture right now, and in the chat put there, which one do you think you're at right now? Okay. Which one of these is kind of where you're at right now? And we'll plug that in right now for it. Where is your lighting setup right now for it? So a lot of you are just right. Some of you are a little bit fluorescent right now because you're in the office, obviously. Excellent, Carlos. Got a 4 on there. Little overexposed. Okay, so for all of us, we want to be aware of lighting. Okay, when we're too dark, when we look like this in a meeting, okay, we think, oh, I'm just being cool. I'm laying back a little bit. So we may have to invest in lighting, and I'm going to give you a couple examples of that. So for lighting, this is a simple tool. This is a little ring light you can buy on Amazon, and it just lights up, $7, but it'll give you some forward lighting, which is good. And I'm going to share with you today. So in my studio today, I have an actual, should I got here? I use a ring light with a screen, with a little thing on it. Let me pull this over. So it's a ring light that I'm using to kind of get some lighting. So there's a possibility of investing in some lighting if you need that, $60 to get really good lighting for yourself, which will help a lot. So we want to keep that in mind of having good lighting. The best thing is forward lighting. Looks good. I coach Carrie and Tyler. They've done good. Carrie, do you have a question? Your hand's up. I don't know if you have a question or not. Okay, we'll put it back down. But I've been coaching Carrie and Tyler on this. They have great lighting so far. But it's important to have some forward light, everybody, in your office when you talk to a client that way. Matt, I saw you put the shades down, right? That helps. That help a lot, makes a big difference that way. So keep in mind, these are just little simple things that are going to evaluate how they determine trust. So if any of these are off, it affects our ability to make the sale that way. We really want it to look perfect every meeting we have. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to evaluate a few of you in a fun way so we can understand what it looks like to have it at the right level, okay, when it's really good. So we're going to have you do a brief introduction on audio, and then we're going to score these areas. We're going to score either, let me get my arrows out here. So we're going to score your microphone, how good is the webcam? Are you centered? How good is the lighting? And then what does the background look like from 1 to 5? We'll vote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, excellent. 4, very good. 3, pretty good. 2, low quality. 1, see me after the class, okay? So if you get a 1, I'll help you, okay? I'll help you move forward a little bit. All right, need a volunteer. Who wants to go first? Hand up. Wow, look at all our participations, Tyler. They're all excited about being evaluated. Carrie, you're going first. You ready? Do an introduction, Carrie. Come on audio.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm sorry, I missed what I was supposed to say.
Okay, hold on. I'll give it for you. Okay, pretty simple. You ready? It is name, location, and why you love working for MarineMax so much.
Hey, good morning. I'm Carrie Dennison. I work with MarineMax Team Support, and I love MarineMax because I love boating.
Okay, very good. All right, everybody. And I moved my camera, so give me 1 second to fix that. Okay, from 1 to 5, let's give her some scores. How good is her microphone, everybody? 1 to 5. Give me a score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a hand. What do you think? You're getting some 4s and 5s there, Carrie. Very good. How about her webcam? How she's centered? What do you think? I'm going to give her a good score. I'm going to give her a 4.5 on that, right? Very good. How about lighting? Does she have good forward lighting? 1 to 5. Marin, what do you think? 1 to 5. What do you think? Oh, wow. You're very generous. Very generous. Okay. And then what about her background? She's in a temporary office today. What do you think? Al's hard on her. Al gave her the 2. I'm going to give her a 4. It's pretty well organized, right? She could tighten the shot a little bit. That's very good. All right, Carrie, very good. Carrie, pick someone, if you would, to give us, we'll get some feedback. Pick anybody named Al.
I would like to choose Al.
Okay. Hey, Al, I'm picking you to show them just what it looks like if we don't have perfect lighting. I know you'll improve it, but let's just do a quick intro, and then we'll give you some feedback, all right? Let's go.
My name is Al Casella, and I work at MarineMax in Clearwater, Florida. I love MarineMax because it's an awesome company. I love boating, and I absolutely love my job.
Excellent, excellent. All right, Al, you ready, everybody? How about his microphone, 1 to 5? What do you think? I'm going to give him like a 3.5 to 4. It's pretty good, okay? A lot of 4s there. How about his webcam? As far as his positioning, how does he look? Okay, yeah, he's got good positioning. Al, I see some of your ceiling, so I want that camera to be a little bit higher, okay? Just a little bit, and I won't see the ceiling that way. How about lighting, everybody? Here's the tough part, Al. You must have a window in front of you or behind you. Oh, Stephanie, you're hard, Elval. You're tough, right? Hey, Stephanie, 1 is see the trainer after the meeting, right? So you want some forward lighting, Al. If I can email you this will fix it right away, right? Put that right up there in front of you or clip on your screen. That'll fix it that way. And how about background, everybody? What do you think? 1 to 5 background. Oh, we all like the boat back there. Okay, so a little forward lighting. Okay, Al, pick someone. Your turn. Pick someone. Pick anybody on the team, and we'll do a quick evaluation of them.
Oh boy, this is easy. Stephanie Herrera.
Oh yeah, Stephanie gave you a 1. Okay, okay, you ready, Stephanie? Let's do it.
Good morning. I'm Miss Stephanie Herrera. I work at Marine Max in Sarasota, and I love Marine Max because I love being on the water.
Okay, now everybody heard that, right? Okay, so let's do the evaluation because there's a couple of things you want to work on. How's your microphone, everybody? 1 to 5. What do you think? Yeah, Stephanie, what for? I don't know what you're using. What are you using for a mic, Stephanie? Is it a laptop?
It is my laptop.
Okay, so we want to maybe help her, Carrie, is just make sure she gets a little bit better sound, right? See, everybody, when you use a laptop, you don't get perfect sound every time, and that will affect your meeting. How about her webcam? How's she look on webcam, everybody? As far as being kind of centered up, 1 to 5, what do you think? You got a good score there. Tyler said 3. Got a little lighting back there. How about lighting, everybody? 1 to 5. Okay, Al, here's your chance. Get even here. Okay, so Stephanie, you see the window behind you? Can you close the blinds all the way, or are they just sheer? Don't do it yet. No, don't do it right now. At the break, we're gonna have you close it, okay? And that'll make it a lot better that way. And then how about background, everybody? When she closes the window, background, what do you think? Okay, yeah, it'll be better that way. It'll help. All right, let's see. I want to pick someone now. Let me see. Who is H. Stringer? What is your first name?
Hi, I'm Holly.
Okay, Holly, would you do the introduction, please? I want to see what happens when they use a laptop or a desktop, right? Please.
Hi, my name's Holly Stringer. I'm with Marine Max Sail and Ski Austin, Lakeway, and San Antonio, and I love working for Marine Max because I love lake life.
Excellent. A lot of lakes out there, huh? Okay, excellent. Let's get some feedback. Now, when you use a laptop, everybody, at home, and it's on your desk, they're looking down on us. You see that? And it sends the wrong message. So, Holly, we're going to want that to come up a little bit. A couple of books will do it, and it'll move it up that way, all right? Let's give her some feedback. So, how's her microphone, everybody? 1 to 5. What do you think? Okay, you got 3s and 4s, so not bad, right? You know, a $100 investment in this kind of mic gets you really good quality for sound. It's really worth buying to plug it if you're at home a lot. Okay. Who put that on there? Who's CH? Who is that? Is that Chris? CH Miller. That's
I'm CH Miller. That's me. I'm Chelsea.
Oh, Chelsea. Oh, incredible comment.
Not Chris.
Very funny. Okay. So let's see. Holly, for webcam, how does she look, everybody? On a scale of 1 to 5, what do you think? She looks terrific, but the angle is what? We're looking up at her and looking at us. So we want to move that up a little bit. How's her lighting, everybody? 1 to 5, what do you think? 1 to 5. Yeah, okay, very good. You're getting some 4s. Your lighting's pretty good. And then what about background, everybody? Remember, I don't want to see your roof or your ceiling, right? So we can
I'm not going to see her at all.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all good feedback, everybody. Hopefully, you've gotten a couple ideas that with our virtual presence, people are going to evaluate, our camera, our microphone, our lighting, and our background, and we want to be looking at that very carefully to make sure we get the best we can do with that. All right. So for you in chat, what's one area you can do to improve your executive presence? What's one thing you'll commit to and say, like to do that? Very good, very good, very good. Holly got it right on the money, right? Thank you, Holly. Yeah, it's tough when you're moving around with the laptop and having meetings and going different spots. Getting it perfect all the time is hard to do. But sometimes having a little, like this is in my briefcase, a little portable light just in case, right? It's just there just in case. If I have a big meeting, I can do it that way. In my office, I've even got a little like loom light that I bought. That's like about $50. But lighting's important in a good meeting, and microphones, all that stuff on there. So I'll just say, focus on your executive presence. It'll make a big difference for you. It will help you. Okay. Any questions on this part? You can raise your hand up like this for a question on backgrounds or lighting of those areas, just to help everybody. Questions? Yep, very good. All right, now what I find is that everybody makes changes to Stephanie at the break, all right? So at the break, we're gonna do all the change arounds, all right? And then you can, Stephanie, you can turn your camera off for a second. Turn your camera off, okay? Fix that window and come back on, all right? And then we'll see the difference when you do it that way. We'll give her a second to do that.
Rick, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm serious about this when I say this. I want to know what my lighting looks like, because if I have my lights on,
yeah,
I have this glare, okay? And I don't mean that to be funny, but you know, and I don't want that to be a distraction in my video. So what I did for this is, I noticed when I got on here, it was just like a flashlight, right? So I got up and I just turned the lights off, and I don't know what it looks like. I can see what it looks like for me, but I want some feedback on what it looks like here to other people.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the brightness to shine off my head, obviously, and just create a distraction.
All right, so two things. You got a good thing and a bad thing, all right? So the lighting on the top of your head is called a hair light. And in Hollywood, they want them to have a light on the top of their head. So it gives you some separation from your head to the background. It's perfectly fine. You got a lot of side lighting coming in from a window, right?
No, that's my other light. Yeah, it's just all lights.
So you kind of want, you may have to get a second light to light the other half of your face, right?
Okay.
To bounce it out that way.
Right.
So a little $7 light will do that, or a ring light at Best Buy. One of those will help you that way, okay?
Okay.
So don't worry about this. That's actually Hollywood. That's a good thing. And if it gets too much, then you have to put makeup on your head.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
To dull that. I mean, that's what you have to do. So for now, buy a secondary light to get the second half of your room lit. It'll be perfect that way.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for feedback.
Great question. Anyone else? Questions on this stuff? Mike is so Hollywood. There you go. You know, everybody, the chat is the way we have conversation in a virtual meeting. So it's perfectly fine to have a little fun in the chat function. I think it's a good idea. Okay. So I like that. All right. So that's the first fundamental that we all want to hold people accountable to. Tyler looks really good, everybody. He's worked on his. Carrie's worked on hers. Jana's worked on her part too, because they've learned those before. So as you progress, you'll all get better and you can help each other. I would just say that if you see a weakness from someone, help them by telling them. They may not even know it, right? If their audio's bad or their lighting doesn't look right, give them a tip, help them out a little bit, be friendly about how you do it, and it'll help them improve that way. Okay, let's go to number 2. The second area is our presence, leveraging that, right? So once we get the fundamentals right, now we want to leverage our virtual presence. So in the chat, all right, what does a congruent message mean to you? When I say congruent, you have to be congruent in presenting. What does that mean to you when you're being congruent? Let's put an idea in chat of what that means. Very good. Carlos says consistent. Carlos, come on audio if you would, please, and tell us what you mean by consistent.
I mean, I just think from beginning to end, you have to be consistent in the sense of the way you present it, the way you're talking, and just your preparation.
All right, hey Carlos, tell me that again. Look right at the camera when you tell me that. There you go. Now that's the way you have to do it every time, right? So say the same answer again, but right to the camera. And it's hard to do because your screen's over here, right? And then your camera's there. So develop that habit to look right at me when you say it. Try it again.
So being consistent with your presentation, with your preparation, and make sure you flow in the right way from beginning to end.
Give me a thumbs up if you agree that Carlos looks a lot better when you get direct focus from him, right? Excellent, Carlos. So thank you for that. You're right. It's everything kind of consistent that way is really a congruent message. And here's the free dictionary, definition. It's everything verbal and nonverbal all come together. What we find is that, messaging is really your words, your body language, and your tone of voice. Let me give you an example of this. Ready? I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. Just really excited. Just really fired up. What do you believe, everybody? My words, my tone, or my body language? In chat, Which one really has the most impact for you that you can say has the biggest impact? Absolutely, it's tone, right? So in the virtual world, our tone has a lot of impact. And we say to offset this, you have to compensate by bringing up your tone 20%, right? That means you got to be more enthusiastic virtually than you are in person. I had an in-person meeting yesterday, the first one in months, with a client that's doing training with me. And we sat across from each other. I just sat there for half an hour, let him talk. But in a virtual meeting, you can't do that. You got to be much more enthusiastic, increase your tone that way. And because our voice is a very important tool. So let's try it that way. Michael, pick anyone in the meeting, and I want you to say, call their name out and say, I'm so glad you're here, but bring your voice up 20%. And then whoever they call on someone else, and let's keep it going a little bit. Try it, Michael.
Brandon, I'm so glad you're here today, buddy.
There you go. Brandon, pick somebody. Everybody come off mute for a second so we can get us ready to go. Let's go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brandon. Come off. There you go.
Chelsea, I'm so glad you're here today.
There you go. Good. Try it.
Was that me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was Chelsea. Go ahead, Chelsea.
It's really loud in my office. You guys don't want me to be off of mute. I promise.
That's right. You can go back on mute after you do it. Pick somebody and say, I'm so glad you're here.
Carlos, I'm so glad you're here.
Good. Very good.
Effie, I'm so glad you're here.
There you go. Way to look, Carlos. Good job, my friend.
Michael Dickinson, I'm so glad you're here.
There you go.
Matt Nail, so glad you're here.
Matt Capiello, so glad you're here.
Thanks, Matt. Josh, I'm so glad you're here.
All right, everybody stop for a second. Great, okay. We have to bring our voice up, 20%, right? Exaggerating our tone to make up for that. When I first started doing digital work, I would just talk. I would begin talking a little bit. But I realized that to make impact, I had to bring it up how much? In chat. How much higher do I have to go? Put that in chat if you would. Yep. 20, at minimum of 20%, right? So you will know when you've had a virtual meeting, you'll be tired. You've had more energy expended that way. So that's some of the virtual, some of the voice cues you want to have. And I'll put a few tips here for you. Let me annotate a few of these for you. You want to speak clearly, right? All of these are important. Enthusiasm, authority, pausing appropriately. All those are just saying the voice has got to come up by 20%, right? Now let's look at the other side, which are some of the visual. Everybody, if you would, you can go back on mute if you would, everybody. Just pop back on mute if you would for a sec. All right, so the other part is kind of our visual cues, how we come across in the way we present. Now, how many of you were thinking this morning, I cannot wait to be on camera the rest of my career? Raise your hands up, please. You were thinking, God, I'm so excited. I get to be on camera every day. Anybody? How many are like not that fired up about it? Raise your hands up, okay? Most people don't really look forward to being on camera every day, right? But that's the new reality. We're on camera all the time. And if you're a teacher, can you imagine, in elementary school or high school, they're on camera all day long, every day, So it's tough, right? So here's some tips. It's an acronym we call CLUBIG, right? C-L-U-B-I-G. CLUBIG is the cue. Say the word CLUBIG, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're on mute. That's okay. You did go with that, right? So there's a couple of tips to being great on camera. And I'm going to give them to you right now and show you how to do that. Number one, we already talked about number one, which is, look at the camera. So when you talk to the camera, right? Number two is that you're leaning forward 10 degrees. If you'll notice, watch, when I'm presenting, I'm forward about 10 degrees. Everybody, if you would, move forward in your chair a little bit and lean forward a little bit. Come forward a little bit. There you go. I don't want to see, I want your chin down, and I don't want to see this part of your neck as much as possible. I don't want this, all right, which is you relaxing and leaning back. I want you forward as if you're doing a newscast. That's the ideal position. Looks good, Michael. Smile a little bit. There you go. That's better. You're so serious, Michael. Alexandra, you look good. Josh, that's good, right? Leaning forward. Number two is to utilize some facial expressions, okay? Let me give you an example of this. I'm going to try to give you no facial expression. Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Gallegos, and I'm so excited to be here because I can't tell you how much I've waited to meet this team, and no expression, right? So when we speak, we have to have expression in our face. We can move our face. Everybody touch your face. Move your face a little bit. Move it a little bit. It's supposed to move when you talk. Hey, Carrie, good to see you. I'm so excited about your new purchase of your new boat. Your face should move. If your face isn't moving, you are boring, all right? Move it a little bit. Number 2, body movement. It's okay to move a little bit, to move that body a little bit. Marin, you okay? You can move a little bit. You can move yourself a little bit. I want you to move. Hey, everybody, I can't tell you how excited I am to be here today, especially because you bought a new boat. That's a great thing. We talked about increasing energy. And the last thing is gestures. It's okay to gesture. Everybody, get your hands up here. Come on, Carrie, get them up high. Hi. I'm so excited about your new boat purchase. We're going to have to talk about maintenance. Sometimes motors break down. It's okay to use gestures, all right? All of these factors make you a better presenter. So the 3 keys, I'm going to go back and talk about the 3 keys here, okay? They're really these. I like people to use good facial expressions, move your body a little bit, and to use gestures, okay? We all cool with that? Give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Okay, now you're all saying, okay, Rick, you did that really well. But that doesn't mean you can do it. I want to see you do this, all right? So let's see you demonstrate these 3 things. Clue big. Okay, Holly, you ready? All right, I'm going to have Holly go first here on this. So we're going to have Holly demonstrate this. Give me 1 second, Holly. So we're going to do a little demonstration of clue big. I'm going to ask you a question, okay? When I ask the question, I want you to respond by looking directly at the camera, okay? That's first. So let me put the little note here. So just look right at the camera, right? Number 1. Number 2, you're going to do it with a partner. Let them finish, okay, before you talk. However excited they are, I want you to exceed their enthusiasm and use clue big, body movement, facial expressions, and gestures. Everybody good? Give me a thumbs up. All right. In this one, it's Holly and Marin. Is that right? Is it Marin? Nod your head. Is that correct, Marin? Okay, good. So Holly and Marin are my first 2, and you're going to answer this question. Here's the question. I love pizza so much because, okay? And Holly, you're first. Go over the top, all right? Marin's got to beat you. We're going to do it 2 times. You'll go first. Marin's second. You're third. She's fourth. Ready to go? Okay, let's go. Give it a shot.
I love pizza so much because I love carbs.
Come on, Marin, you're up.
Well, I second that because I'm on the keto diet, so I love pizza to break my diet every time.
Very good. Come on, topper, Holly, a little bit more.
I love pizza because who doesn't like pizza?
Very good. Marin, last one. Gestures, come on.
I love pizza because I can feed my entire family with 1 meal.
Okay, very, very good for both of you. Everybody, which visual cue did they use from Clue Big? Which one did you see? Put it in chat if you would. Which one did they do it? Which visual cue? And I'll go back to Clue Big for you to show you that again. Oops. It's this one right here, right? So which one did they use really well of those 3 or 4 we talked about? Leaning forward, good. Facial expressions. They were using gestures too, right? Okay, really good, really good. All right, let's go to the pick. Let's say, Al, you're going to do this with Josh. You ready? And Al, you start. Josh, you got to top them. You ready? Let's go, Al. Give it a shot. Let's go.
I love pizza because it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, you can stick it in the oven. It's cheese. It's meat. You can't go wrong. I mean, it's amazing.
Good job, Josh. Come on, Al, top a little bit more. Come on.
Well, it's absolutely the best thing in the world. I mean, pizza comes this way, it comes that way. It's all over the place. Everybody loves pizza.
Very good. Come on, Josh. One more. Top them, man. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, you can do wood fire, you can do it just in a traditional oven, you can do a brick oven. I mean, there's pizza food trucks. It's ridiculous. It's amazing. Let's do.
Okay, give them applause, everybody. A little bit of applause. Good job. A little bit of applause for the team. Can you hear the difference when their voice goes up 20%? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the difference, right? We're looking for that when we're in this virtual environment. Gentlemen, good job, both of you. Michael and Matt, you guys are going to do it now. Come on, audio, if you would, please. Michael, you're first. Let's go. Come on, top this thing, man. Blow the roof off. Let's go.
Matt, pizza is so amazing because it's round and it comes in a square box and it's so satisfying.
Come on, Matt. Let's go.
Which Matt? Me or Matt now? I'll do
Matt
it.
C, that's you. You go.
I love pizza because cheese is one of my favorite food groups.
Not only that, there's so many different kinds of cheeses you can put on there. I mean, every cheese you can imagine all tastes so good mixed together. It's so satisfying. Oh, my goodness.
Excellent. Come on, Matt. Last one. Let's go.
My favorite cheese is Grande because it's whole milk, whole fat cheese. So it's greasy and it's awesome.
There you
But
go.
when you mix the protein with that, it just makes my day every time.
Round of applause,
Hey, don't
everybody.
forget about
Round of applause for two. Round of applause for two. Okay. Again, and I've never
Don't forget
heard
about the sauce.
I never heard that before. It's a round thing in a square box. That's fantastic, man. I'm telling you. Okay, let's pick two more. Brandon, you and Alexandria are going to do it. Ready? Brandon, you're first.
Alexandria, I love pizza so much because what other food can you make by throwing it into the air?
Good gestures. Go ahead. There you go. Alexandria, you're up. Come on, audio, Alexandra. You're up. There you go. Now do it.
I love pizza because
No, I have to do
you
a damn
put
thing.
pineapple on it.
Oh, you like why? Why pineapple?
Yeah.
Why not pineapple?
Okay, very good. All right, Brandon.
Pineapple. I love pineapple and like anchovies and all kinds of crazy stuff on mine.
Very good. Last one, Alexandra.
What happened to Nick? Rick. You're there. I love pizza because you can fold it in half.
Very good. Give her a little applause, everybody, for both of these. Very good. Okay, good. Mike Field and Mike Dickinson. Mike, you're going first. Let's go. Ready, set, do it. Let's go.
I love pizza because the cheese and the sauce mixed together is wonderful.
It's even better when you dip it in ranch.
Oh, and then when you put all the spices on it and fold it in half and eat it like a sandwich, it's unbelievable.
But what if you start at the crust instead of the front?
Talk about the crust. Oh my gosh. Leave the crust for last, and that's the best.
All right, round of applause for the group, everybody. Round of applause for the group. Okay, hopefully you're getting a pretty good idea of that. Let's pick a couple more. Mr. Westmoreland, you and Chelsea are going to do it together. You'll go first, okay? Come on, audio, if you will. There you go.
I love pizza because it's just as good the next day.
I love pizza because I really don't, but it goes good with beer.
Well, I love beer too, so I have to agree with you on that one.
Beer is the best.
We were talking about pizza, but let's talk about beer.
Let's talk about extended warranty.
All right, give them a round of applause, everybody. Good job, good job. All right, now let's go to this slide and take a look at it that we talked about. So which one of these do you need to improve on? All right, in Klubig, of really looking at the camera, really making sure that you are using facial expressions, body movement, gestures in the chat. Which one's important for you that you have to keep in mind when you're presenting and talking to a client? Because remember, if you just talk like this and the warranty is $3,000, sir, we can put it into the, it's not going to work. You have to bring up your energy. Which one's important for you? There you go. Josh, come on, audio, if you would. Tell me about those two, looking at the camera and body movement. Why is that important for you? Let's talk about that real quick.
Yes, I've got laptop here down low and then two screens, one on the side. I got my chat and then I've got the rest of you guys up here. So just to remember to look here and not up top. Obviously, lighting is a bit of an issue in my office also. And then just gestures. In person, I make a lot of gestures, but anytime I'm in that kind of situation, I tend to tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, and Josh, if your camera angle is too tight like this, they can't see your gestures, right? So you want to be back a little bit. See my logo on my shirt? I want that to be right at the bottom. So bring your camera down a little bit if you can, just a little bit, and you're able to see the bottom of my shirt. That way I can see your gestures, your hand movement that way. So if you're too tight, you can't see that, okay? That's great. Thanks, Josh. Let's see. Al, you put in, again, gesturing is important for you. Tell me about that. Why is that important for you, Al?
I think it's extremely important because the customer has to see some personality. If you don't have any personality at all, I mean, they're going to just zone out.
They're going to get bored. And when they get bored, they're not going to pay attention. Okay. And so we want to make sure we know that. Valadares, what's your first name on there, Miss Valadares? I have a note of that.
Julie.
Julie, what'd you put? What's an area for you you want to make sure you focus on?
I would probably say the gesturing. I've tried to control that, of not overdoing it. I probably need to do a little more.
Okay, so say the whole thing again. Give me a gesture while you do it, all right? Get your hands involved in that presentation. So lean forward. Remember I said you got to lean forward a little bit. Now do the same thing. Julie, which one do you want to work on?
I'd say the gesturing. I've
go.
worked really hard to control my hands in the past.
Yeah, gesturing's okay. I like gesturing a lot online. Really, really good thing to have them do it that way. Let's pick one more. Who is Jay Gale? Who is that? What's your first name?
John.
John, hey, man, which one do you want to work on, John? Tell me about yours.
Gesturing, obviously, body language. It's a big key for emotions, both sides.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So if we utilize those, it makes a big, big difference. All right, everybody, in virtual learning, we go about 1 hour and then we take a break, all right? So we take a 10-minute break. So we're gonna take 10 minutes to just relax, kind of refresh, come back, and we're gonna work on asking questions now in the virtual environment and actually doing the client interview and how to do that in the virtual setting. So I have 9:57. We're gonna say about 7 minutes after, we'll see you all back. You can turn off your cameras, you can change your executive presence, and I'll see you back here at 7 after, okay? See you in just a little bit, everybody.
Either at the top or at the bottom that says View Options. If you click on that, you should have a selection then that says Annotate. Go ahead and click on Annotate. And with that, you now have some different options that you can choose from to do kind of what you were seeing Rick do, where you can, go ahead, Rick. Do you want them to go ahead and practice with some?
Yeah, I want everybody to try to draw an ear. So hold on one second. Hold on. I'm going to go to a white screen, all right? So let's go to this. I want to see if you can draw a picture of an ear using your tools. You can do it anywhere on the whiteboard. So grab your tool, your drawing tool, and maybe you can draw a picture of a little ear. That's my best version of it. That's not an ear, whoever that blue line. Alexandra, good shot. That wasn't an ear. Draw an ear if you can. There you go.
Oh my God.
All right. All right. Now, wherever you drew an ear, find a box, not like a square, and put that square around the ear you drew. Let me give you an example. On the drawing tool on the top, it's the third one from the left, which will give you a box. See if you can build a box around that, everybody, if you would. Good job with that. Good. Now, if you would, change the color of your box by going to Format and picking the color red, and see if you can make a red box now, everybody. Really good, really good. That's really good. All right, now draw an arrow toward your box so I can see an arrow now where you're highlighting a key part of the box. So put an arrow on there. Yep, that's one of the arrows. And then under the drawing tool, there's a second arrow. Use the one from the drawing tool. Pick one of the arrows for that to point it in that way. Okay, really good. So how many raise your hands. You maybe need a little practice here of annotating. Raise your hands up, okay? So in the chat, what is the value of annotation? So put that in chat. How does it help us when we annotate? What does it do for us? And I don't think any of us are going to sell these kind of drawings for money right now. So no one's at that level yet, but we're getting there, right? So how does it help? Okay, let's take a look here. Brandon, you said gets attention. Come on audio, Brandon, if you would. And by the way, everybody, that's a comment that I use a lot. I don't ever say come off of mute because it assumes I've muted you. I always say come on audio, okay? Write that down if you would. Make a note of that to say the phrase come on audio if you would. Never use the phrase come off mute. So Brandon, come on audio if you would. Tell us why you said that.
It just points out a desire. You're kind of leading the eye of the customer to where you want it to be at.
Exactly.
Right. Colors will, I guess, mean different things to customers. So you can change the colors up and get their eye to specific things.
Hey, Brandon, what's the best color to use, do you think? Is there a favorite color you like?
I mean, I like green.
Okay, very good. So we begin to find a color that contrasts our slide. That's the best color to pick for that. Let's see what else we've got on here. Mike Field draws attention. Tell me about that. What's going on with that annotation when we do that?
Well, if you're trying to display something, let's say you're doing a virtual closing and you've got a menu and you want to point out something, you highlight it or circle it or put squares around it. It's going to draw attention and keep their mind focused on what you're trying to present to them.
Great, great. How many of you have one of these things? It's an old tool we used to use before the virtual environment. It's called a pen. Anybody have one? Take it out. Get your pen out, okay? Write this down, okay? Write this down. They will only focus for 2 minutes. Write this down. Your customer will only focus on what you're talking about for a maximum of 2 minutes. And write this second point. Annotation gets their eyeball attention. It will get them looking and focusing on what you're doing. Matt C. What are the 2 tips? Come on, audio.
2 tips for listening?
Yeah, I just gave them to you. What are they?
I wrote down remove distractions around us and be sensitive to what is not being said. But I think you're alluding to 2 other tips.
Well, there's a 2-minute rule, right?
Okay, the 2-minute rule and then annotation.
Yeah, so what's the 2-minute rule? Just so we know.
That people are only going to focus on you for 2 minutes before they're going to get distracted, and the annotation will help.
You got it. So if you've got an important point, everyone, make sure you tell them to take out a pen and jot that point down, because it will improve also memory of the key point you have in your presentation. We'll talk about it later, but I just wanted to share those 2 with you so that you're kind of clear of how to do that. All right, let's get into questioning now. Let's talk about how to ask questions a little bit with the group. So in professional selling, we say that when someone's buying something, they're typically buying they're looking for 4 things. And I want to annotate a couple of these for you, right? So the first thing is that it's their outcome desire, right? Typical reasons why they buy a boat. In chat, what's the #1 outcome of why someone buys a boat? It's not to acquire fiberglass, I promise. That's not what it is. It's not to acquire steel. What's the main reason why they buy a vessel? Let's take a look there. Very good. Enjoying life. That's correct. All right. So Mike, come on audio if you would and tell us, what do you think? What's the main reason why they do that?
Which mic? We got a lot of mics.
Mike Damask. Yeah, Mike, I'm sorry, Mike Damask.
Fills a need.
So what specific need do they typically look for? What's that outcome they desire, why they're buying a boat?
Family time. Enjoy
Exactly.
the water with their family.
Yeah, so in your interview, everyone, when you're asking questions about their perfect day, what we're uncovering is really what their outcome is. What do they really want to achieve? And then they also have what are called buying criteria, which is the equipment, the electronics, other things they want, right? And they also have what's called a personal motive. The personal motive is not what they want, not the outcome, but why they want that. It could be more family time. It could be special times together. It could be great fishing experiences, but it's more of a personal reason. We want to uncover these areas in our interview. We want to uncover the outcomes, the buying criteria, and the personal motive. And we're going to try to simplify this. So we're going to give them a chart that they can use to say, hey, what would be your perfect day, right? And so everybody, if you would, grab your annotation tool and circle. If you have your own boat, which one of these would be kind of the perfect day for you? Is it here? Which one is that for you? That really is your perfect day on a boat's doing what? And just annotate that if you would, please. Good. Excellent. Mike, good job with the arrow. Rocky liked it. Holly, nice. Kind of a circle, Holly. Almost a circle. Oh, a lot of weekend warriors here in the group, right? So in the virtual environment, we can ask questions this way, right? We can make them think and engage rather than just asking a question. So it's a little bit different this way than we would have like that. Okay, I'm going to clear all the drawings. Just 1 second. Did a good job with that. And you can also ask it this way. 1 second. Here's the second one. So I have to understand from the client, I want to have a pretty good idea of, what is it that they want, what they're looking for from their boating experience, the things they must have, a little bit of information, and then why do they want this? I'm always trying to uncover that from them. Okay. Let's take a peek here. I have to clear this stuff off all the time, back and forth. So when we're conducting an interview, we have to engage the buyer. We've already said that. A couple of ways are annotation, having them write things down. But we want to also make sure that we understand that they may not share everything. In the chat, why do you think it may be more challenging to get information in a virtual environment rather than when they're sitting in front of you? What's the biggest challenge going to be when we have to run these meetings virtually opposed to the other way? Yeah, give you a second. What's going to be the hard part about it? Holly, you put there that the customer isn't as invested. And look at the chat. So what do you mean by that? They're not as invested, Holly?
So obviously we want to build up relationship pretty quickly. And so I feel like with asking people to get on Zoom calls and things like that, I've noticed some of my customers find it more of an inconvenience rather than something that they want to help with. So, or that they think will help them and their buying experience. So we got to figure out a way to get them invested at the beginning and really realize that this is important. It is going to improve their boating experience and their buying experience in general.
Yeah, it's tougher to make the connection, right? So what are you doing to build a stronger connection, Holly? Is there anything you're doing so far that helps you overcome that?
So I really get, like everyone has said, I get involved really early. I try to send personal videos, just quick, links and things like that. And then kind of let them know that I'm available, hey, text me, here's my, cell phone number here. You can text my fuse line, like whatever, and just kind of try to build that and make me easily accessible to them. So they trust me.
That's great. Holly, I work with a staffing firm and they are sending candidates out on jobs that they're, qualified for. and they have their interviews all on Zoom, and people aren't even showing up for work right now. They don't think they think they can just blow it off that way because it's all virtually done. So you're right. We have to build a strong connection with people, and it is more challenging. Maren, you put there distractions. What are the distractions that are going on right now in this virtual meeting we're running for them?
I mean, it's personally, like, even myself having, other monitors going on. If you're doing a Zoom meeting with a customer, they could easily have someone else in their office at their own home. They might have their kids running around. There's all sorts of things that can keep you away from being focused. Whereas if you're in the dealership, it's usually just one-on-one. So you're dealing with a lot more outside distraction when you're trying to relate to the customer.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Hey, Mike Field, I watched your video demonstration when you had someone in your office. You had Al in your office. Why is it more challenging, do you think, for you, or going to be in the virtual environment doing the same thing? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think it was exactly like Maren said. I mean, I was thinking in terms of, when you're sitting in front of a customer doing a closing.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you seen a guy or lady sitting there on their cell phone or taking a business call right in front of you? Can you imagine if they're not right in front of you, where you don't have any control over that?
Yep.
With what they're doing, a million miles away from you than right in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's look at some ideas of how to do that. So the first thing is that, and you may want to jot these 2 slides down, everybody, or screenshot them. We have to facilitate an experience that separates us from everyone else, not just use the platform. And we're going to do that by getting them involved in what we do. I'll go back. Hold on, I'll go back. So we have to facilitate an experience that separates us, right? And really they'll support when they're involved that way. What it means is that if they're not involved in what you're talking about, they check out, right? And let me ask the group, what have I done so far? You can raise your hand up for this part, but what have I done in the meeting so far? We've been together an hour and a half to get you involved. What are some things that I've personally done, that I've been modeling to get you involved in this meeting? Raise your hand if you have an idea of that. Yeah, Al, what's one thing?
You get a call on us nonstop.
I've been keeping you involved by getting your feedback, right? Excellent. Holly, what's one thing I've been doing?
Well, Al stole my thing, but you kept us actively engaged, with the annotations and constantly going back and forth, shifting back and forth between large screen Brady Bunch back to here. This is what I'm looking at now, and just kind of keeping our attention that way.
Why am I doing that, Holly? Why is that important?
Engagement.
Completely, right? It's the #1 factor that you have to change when they're not in your office. You have to not just use the Zoom tool, but you've got to create an experience for them. If you let them annotate, if they can draw a little bit, if they can show them something cool they can do, it's an experience for them. And they appreciate that more from that. So in questioning, what we're going to say is that you really can do it a couple different ways. Like, let's just say I'm interviewing all of you on sales, and I say, hey, you want to improve your sales. Put a circle around which one of these areas you think would be most important for you. Take them, everybody. Just do that real quick. Put a circle around. Grab your tool, your annotation tool, grab your circle tool, and see if you can make a circle. Carrie and I were working on making circles the other day, right around the one you think is most important for you. Good job. There you go. There you go, Carrie. Holly, that's just a dot you put. You need a bigger circle than that. Okay, good. Good. You get the idea? I'm asking a question, but I'm asking you to annotate, to be involved with me in the process. Now, let's see here. Julie, you put becoming a trusted advisor. Why did you say that? Why did you pick that one? Come on, audio, Julie.
No, I actually selected asking powerful questions.
Okay, so you picked that one. Why is that important for you to become better at selling?
I think it would engage the customer a little bit better and make them ask me more questions with regards so that I could better serve them and address their concerns.
You know, Julie, if you can serve them better by doing that, how does that help you as the consultant for MarineMax? What is it going to do for you?
It would give the customer a better experience and more confidence in the process.
All right. Did everybody see what I just did? I asked her a question, and then I asked a follow-up question, okay? Why do you think I asked a follow-up question to her answer? In chat, what's the reason behind that? Why did I do that? Let's put an idea in chat. Why did I ask her a follow-up question? What's the reason behind it? Oh, that's Rocky's on it. First one to respond. He's on it, man. Rocky, come on audio, please, and tell us about why you said that. Look at Rocky's response. And he changed his name too. Thanks, Rocky. I appreciate that, man. Right on. So why did I ask a follow-up question to her, Rocky?
For one, you let them know that you're listening and what they're saying, you're giving them the impression that it's important to you.
Yeah. Do you do the same thing, Rocky, with your clients? Why do you do that? Why is that important for you?
I'm just naturally like that. But I enjoy the back and forth and the conversation. That's how I build trust in the process. So that's why I do it. It's more of a trust building aspect to me.
All right, everybody, if you would, grab your pen. Rocky, thank you so much for that. Right on the money. Grab your pens, everybody, and just put this down. Always ask follow-up questions to your clients. I'm going to share with you why in just a moment. Ask follow-up questions, okay? Here's why. It's been proven, this is by the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, that when a person asks follow-up questions, they're more liked, right? The person likes them more because they keep focusing back on the other person. So we ask them a question, then we ask a follow-up question to dig a little deeper, okay? They even evaluated speed daters, okay? You remember who's heard of speed dating? Raise your hands up, please, right? They evaluated speed daters, and the person that asked the more follow-up questions got more dates than anyone else. Why is that? Because they were more liked, right? And if you'll think about it in your personal life, who's someone that talks to you a lot, that asks you questions, then asks follow-up questions, goes deeper and deeper and deeper. That's people we like a lot, right? So asking follow-up questions is very helpful to do that. All right, so here's an example of asking follow-up. I'm gonna work with Carrie on this one. Carrie, you ready? Come on audio if you would.
Here.
So I'm gonna work on asking a follow-up question. We're gonna try out a little bit. Carrie, where did you go to high school? Just so we all know.
A very small town in Ohio.
What was the name of the high school?
The high school is named Hilltop.
Hilltop, okay. Here's a deeper follow-up question. What was it like going to high school in a small town like that?
Well, it was K through 12, so everyone knew everyone, literally.
So for you, how did that affect you by knowing everybody? Was that a good thing or a bad thing for you?
It was actually mostly good. It was mostly good. It was a small town atmosphere, surrounded by cornfields. It's all good.
Yeah. So a horizontal follow-up question, let me annotate this, right? A horizontal question would be like, well, where'd you grow up? But a vertical follow-up question was like, well, what was that like? I mean, we're going to ask people questions like, what's your ideal boating experience look like? And they're going to say, well, going to the sandbar or going fishing and diving. And you could just go, okay, I want you to ask a follow-up question to that. Let's demonstrate that, all right? Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I need a volunteer. Raise your hand if you want to volunteer for whatever I ask you to do. Let's see if there's their hand up in there. I need a volunteer. Oh, there you go, Chelsea. There you go. Chelsea's brave. All right, Chelsea, here's the question. How do you envision your typical day on the water? You can ask anybody in the group, and I want you to work on just asking a follow-up question to it, okay? Give it a shot. Pick somebody.
Okay, let's see. Mike Dickinson.
Okay.
So how do you envision your typical day on the water?
Well, I'd take my boat over to Bunce's Pass or go out to Egmont Key and just anchor up and float. That's it.
Okay. What kind of things do you do when you're out on the boat?
Hunt. My mom's a big seashell person, so I like to try to get like a rare shell or something that she's been trying to find, and just kind of floating around, drink a little bit, and just relax.
What's the coolest shell that she's ever found?
Good question, Joe.
She found a sand dollar one time a long time ago, so I told her I would get her one now that I got my boat.
That's awesome. Does she have it on display in the house?
I'm not sure. I think so. She lives in Nebraska, so.
Okay, give her a little applause, everybody. Give Chelsea a little applause. Very good job, Chelsea, of continuing to engage the person by asking follow-up questions. Well done. All right, Carlos, I'm going to give you a second choice. Let's see. Here's 3 questions, all right? So you can ask any of these 3, and just make sure you follow it up with the answer to a follow-up question, right? So what made them lean toward purchasing it, favorite features, or typical day? Pick someone else out. I want us to get in the habit of building trust by using follow-up questioning, all right? So pick someone if you would, please.
Matt Capiello.
Okay.
So Matt, what are some of your favorite features on your new boat?
I really love the outriggers.
You like the outboards?
The outriggers.
The outriggers. You do a lot of fishing?
Absolutely.
What do you go for usually? Mahi or?
It depends on the type. Depends on the time of year. Sometimes it's mahi. Sometimes it's sailfish.
You like sail fishing? What's the biggest sail you've caught?
Probably 5.5 feet long over here, maybe 6 feet. Matt Nail got a nice one.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said Matt Nail caught a nice one a few months ago.
On your boat?
Yeah, we went on my boat and we used the outriggers and we caught a nice sailfish.
Hey, Carlos.
Yes,
Permission to coach a little bit. Can I coach a little bit? Is that okay?
Yeah, I was looking down.
No, it's okay. Not that part. I want to talk about asking questions, all right? Permission to coach your questioning. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So when we ask a follow-up question and somebody says, hey, I like sail fishing, I could just say, what kind of fish do you catch? But I wanted, that's kind of a horizontal question, right? Where do you fish? What kind of fish do you catch? Those are all kind of like a horizontal. I want to go ask a more vertical question. I want them to tell me more about themselves. I may say, so what's it like doing that? Or what's the experience like when you do that? You know what I'm saying? I want to get a little deeper in my answer. Go back, ask the question again, and see if you can get a more vertical question to him to find out their feelings about it rather than just an answer. And watch the difference in the response you get. So try the same line of question again. Let's go back to the questions again.
So Matt, you said you like sail fishing?
There you go.
Yes.
Oh man, how's that experience? I've never caught a sailfish, man. How does that feel?
Excellent, Carlos. Excellent. Okay.
So my favorite part about sail fishing is when you hook the sailfish, it starts to jump out of the water. So it's a very visual experience.
That's awesome. And you don't keep those, right? You put them back?
Yeah, we're catch and release.
Okay.
Awesome.
You get the idea, Carlos?
Yeah.
Yes, you're trying to get them to a little more. Okay, Marin, if you would ask a question, and then we're looking for a follow-up question to it. All right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I'll pick on Holly.
Okay, good.
Hey, Holly. So how do you envision your typical day on the water?
Typically I want to just get a big group of friends, get my Yeti full, go out, anchor up on Devil's Cove, just hang out, maybe do a little wake surfing and just really catch some sun rays.
So how is Devil's Cove? I haven't been out there in years, and I'm sure it's changed quite a bit.
It hasn't changed too much. It's still a good little party scene. Everybody, anchors up and just, even during COVID, everyone's been anchoring up. Probably shouldn't be, but it's still a good time.
Hey, to each his own, right?
Okay, very good example. See how you're engaging them, Aaron? You're getting them more involved that way. Hey, Mike Dickinson, come off mute if you would. I'm sorry, come on audio and ask your question again. I want to help you with that part, all right? So please.
Yeah, I mean, I think where I'm a little uncomfortable is I can be okay at asking those deeper questions, but then it's really awkward trying to transition out of that and into the next topic, or trying to get back on topic without sounding like the deeper questions weren't as genuine as that we were trying to make it.
All right, so we're gonna show you a demonstration of it, Mike, and then we'll see if we can model that. Okay, so give us 1 second, all right? But okay, so in the chat, everybody, what's the importance of asking follow-up questions in chat? Why is it so important to be asking follow-up questions on the virtual environment, not in person, but in the virtual environment? Why are we doing it? Yep, good, good, good. Take a look at the chat, everybody, because there's some great answers coming in there. Yeah, very good, very good, very good, perfect. All right, so we want to get to the final part today, which is actually looking at the interview, the actual interview. So you're going to have we have 2 experts today, everybody, that we've hired. Okay, we brought in 2 professionals to demonstrate the interview, and then we're gonna demonstrate this. Then we're gonna have a few of you do parts of it until we run out of time today. All right. So watch very carefully as we do the interview in the virtual environment, and then I may give you 1 slide to try. Okay, so I'll pick a few of you to try slide out, and we'll do some coaching on it. So it's going to be Carrie doing it today with Tyler. Tyler just bought a brand new 31 SLX. He's really fired up. Before he had a 17 Whaler, and he's moving up. All right, so he's got the family was crowded before, and now he's got his 31-foot SLX. Carrie, I'll move the slide. I'll tell you what, Carrie. Let me see if I can make you the give you some privileges here to do that. So just 1 second. Okay, I think you can now annotate and do your own stuff, Carrie, if you want. I made you the host. Okay.
Let's try here.
Yeah, take a look at it and see if you can do your stuff that way.
It doesn't appear so.
Okay, let's see. It looks like I did, so I don't think I can. So you have to go back to your name again, click on it, and then make me the host again, if you would. Click on my name, and under more, make me the host, if you would.
Where am I seeing your name?
Scroll up to the very top. There you go. Okay, let's just try it from here. You can annotate. I'll clear them for you as you move along, okay?
Okay. So if I were beginning the interview process with Tyler, I normally wouldn't have my screen shared at this point. I would just have the Brady Bunch just talking with just Tyler and maybe, his wife if she's on the call with us. So I basically get started and just, hey, Tyler, how are you this morning?
I'm great, Carrie. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I want to thank you for being able to join me this morning. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I got to tell you, I've owned 6 boats in the past, and the experience has been phenomenal. But I would say just, connecting with me using technology has been great. You've really made this easy and smooth. So I'm really excited to close this out and get on the water as quickly as possible.
Oh, I thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. And obviously I want the same thing. I want to get this closed as quick as possible and get you on the water. And that's really the intention of this meeting today. I want to just kind of walk through what those next steps look like for you, and then be able to, get some information from you so that I can then prepare the paperwork, get you to closing, get you scheduled for delivery. So any questions before we get started with a couple of things?
No, I'm really excited. Like I said, I've bought 6 boats before, and typically the business manager just calls me, maybe, and asks me a couple of things. So I really appreciate just your genuine care, and I'm excited to see this process. This is pretty innovative.
Good. Well, thank you. So if you give me a second, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I want to make this interactive, Tyler. So if you've never used annotations before, I'm going to ask you to locate a tab. First of all, can you see my screen?
I can. It
okay.
Looks like my new boat.
It is. How about that?
You guys have the flag on there already for me? That's great.
We can make that happen. That's a stock boat, but we can make that happen for you. If you would do me a favor, somewhere on your screen, you're going to notice a tab that says View Options.
Yep.
Do you see that?
I do.
Perfect. If you could click on that, you're going to notice something that says Annotate. If you can click on that for me, that would be great.
All right, I'm there.
Awesome. And then if you go to the tab that says Draw, I'm going to ask you to choose one of those selections from Draw or even from Stamp if you prefer a stamp. Either one is fine.
Oh, that's cool. I just got it. No, that's neat. Nice check mark. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and get started then. If you can go to the next slide, Rick. Okay, so this is actually just a little bit for me to kind of better understand a little bit of, your lifestyle, the boating needs for you and your family. So this first slide is just sort of, what's important to you. There's a number of options here. There's some other options, but with your annotation tool, I would love to know what kind of boater are you and your family?
Well, this one's really easy, Carrie. I would say I am a weekend warrior.
Okay. Just the weekend warrior?
Now that I look at these and understand more of what MarineMax offers, I can definitely see myself and my family joining a MarineMax getaway and actually traveling. There's some neat destinations that I hope to go to now that I've got a bigger boat to do it in. So really a couple of these, not quite into fishing, but I'm sure I could learn.
Well, I appreciate that. You said that there was a number of places that you can go to travel in your area. I'm curious, where are some? Are you talking day excursions or weekend excursions?
Yeah, really both. So we're obviously in the Carolinas, and there's phenomenal day destinations like Bald Head Island. I can go down there, to Bald Head Island in about an hour from Wrightsville Beach, and I can just take my family to lunch on Sunday. But on a longer trip, I could go up to like the Morehead City, Beaufort area, and go out to Cape Lookout. And I could spend the entire weekend there. So I've got a lot of options just in the coast, for us.
Oh, I love that. That sounds perfect. And this 310 SLX is going to be perfect for that with your family. The weekend warrior, I think I could definitely see myself. I'm there as well. That's me. I'm a weekend warrior. Do you guys have a sandbar or a restaurant, like your favorite spot that you love to take the family?
Yeah. So, right around the corner, we've got Masonboro Island. Love to go there, anchor up. And then sometimes we go down the Cape Fear River and just into downtown Wilmington because there are a number of restaurants there that we tie up at. So really both of those. We've got it all. It's incredible.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. It sounds like that's perfect. Well, I know you had mentioned the getaways here. I will, after our meeting, I will send you an email and do an email introduction between you and our getaways coordinator. That way she can make sure that she gets all of our upcoming events for you, and you can kind of get on the mailing list and be able to see what's coming up and get involved in some of those getaways. Okay? That's
great. Yeah, I look forward to it.
Perfect. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to go over with you, if you can move to the next slide, Rick. Perfect. So again, just a few more details. A lot of this just really helps me kind of better understand from the closing aspect, you and again, a little bit of your lifestyle. You had mentioned kind of some of the things that you do, but in general, I know that you're moving out of a much smaller boat, a single engine boat, and the 310 SLX is a little bit bigger boat. What was it that really sort of led you to this boat? I'm very curious.
So really, first and foremost, it's size. It's, it's range, right? I can go further, but the boat is bigger. It's sleek. It's like a sports car. It's got a really nice layout in the cockpit fridge in there. It's got a sweet aft sunshade. I've got 4 little kids. They need shade. I often bring my in-laws in the boat. So we've got, 8 people in the boat. And so, it's got a larger head compartment, neat, flush electronics in the dash built in, just a huge step up. And like I said, it's got the range, fuel range. So I can, take a long trip and not have to worry about running out. So really all those combined are just a huge step up and allow us to do more.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that when you were saying range, coming out of the boat that you're in right now, this is definitely going to be much more suited for the kind of boating that you guys are looking for. So I'm excited for you.
Yep.
The, you know, I was looking, I know that you had previously done some service work with us with your previous boats, your 6 boats. I obviously don't want to make any assumptions, but were you looking to continue servicing your new 310 SLX here with MarineMax?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. And, you know, we talked a little bit about the type of boating that you and your family like to do, but I am actually really curious if you wouldn't mind sharing with me, you know, what does your perfect day on the water look like?
So I think like most, it's a nice, beautiful, sunny day. It's calm, you know, great weather, and you know, not packed, right? So I don't go out on the holiday weekends, and we call that amateur hour, right? A seasoned boater. So just lots of space, beautiful weather, and great destinations. All that combined is just a phenomenal day on the water. Yeah,
that's gorgeous. And you're right. It's the luxury of where you're boating is you can pick and choose the weekends, so you can avoid those crazy weekends.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect. Well, I want to gather some general information then, just kind of about you know, your payment. And I'm going to break here, team. We have some slides that we're not going to go all the way through this, but there are some slides in this presentation that would allow us to then transition into a conversation regarding financing, you know, how they were titling the boat. Sorry, let me clear these.
I got it. Okay,
got them. Thank you. Another slide that would allow us to gather our insurance information. So we can actually be using our slides as a transition. I mean, we have to have the right word track and verbiage to be able to fluidly move, but these slides also sort of help with those transitions. And with the annotations, it's also bringing in the engagement with each one. We have another slide where it allows us to start talking about the trade, you know, gathering some information about the trade, you know, boat ownership, things like that. So it's just an opener. You know, the slide can be used as an opener to start pulling additional info. And as you're aware, we're gathering personal info throughout each of these steps to, you know, build that perfect day at the end when we do our menu presentation. So the last slide is a next step slide, and Tyler and I are going to go ahead and role play that out. So
back to you.
All right. So Tyler, again, I really appreciate your time. I want to just kind of talk through sort of the last steps or the next steps, what this looks like. We've kind of already walked through this, but I want to make sure that we're you know, on the same page and have the same expectation moving forward. So I have your credit application. I'm going to go ahead and get that submitted to the bank today. Do you have any questions for me before I submit that?
I don't. I think you've answered most of them, you know, just in the last few minutes, just as far as like the structure and, you know, what a payment could look like. So not at this time. Excited to see what options are available though.
Yep, perfect. I'm going to get that submitted today, and I should hear back in about 24 hours, 24, 48 if necessary. But usually for this particular boat, I should hear back by tomorrow morning. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get our insurance quote rolling as well. So I'll get that submitted to the agent, and as soon as I have that, I'll get that emailed over to you. Once I hear back from the bank, I'm going to go ahead and give you a call. I want to discuss the terms of the loan. Like I said, I should hear back by tomorrow morning. Do you have a time tomorrow afternoon that we could maybe schedule a quick phone call?
Yeah, anytime after 4 o'clock tomorrow is perfect. You can shoot me a text, and then you know, I can get on the, you know, whether it's the phone or another Zoom meeting right after that.
Yeah, so what I'll do is that's perfect. I'm going to put it on my calendar. I'm going to call you around 4 tomorrow, assuming that I've heard back from the lender. After during that phone call, I do actually want to go ahead and arrange another virtual meeting like this one. There's a few last minute details, some final details that we need to wrap up, and it's a lot easier to do that on a quick Zoom conversation like this as opposed to a phone call. So we'll look at our schedule tomorrow and find a good time to meet. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that sounds great. I love the idea of closing the loop and finalizing all the details, and just so we can get you out of the water as quickly as possible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that would be the next step. After we finalize those details in our next Zoom, I'll be able to go ahead and start preparing our closing paperwork and get that emailed over to you so that we can get that wrapped up. And then at that point, we're ready to get you on the water. We're going to get you scheduled for your delivery. We already talked about the orientation and what that looks like. And this being your, your 7th boat at this point, you probably got it down pretty good with MarineMax, but we'll go through that. We want to make sure, just as before, that you have, the full captain delivery orientation on your new 310 SLX.
Carrie, you've been phenomenal. I can tell you, again, this will be my 7th boat. You've taken all the mystery out what this experience looked like. I've never purchased something, especially at this dollar amount, and had the picture painted more clearly. So, and you've made me really think about a lot of things, and really we're handling all those. So I would say most of all, this has been great because I haven't even had to come into the store, and we've knocked this out in 10, 15 minutes. So thank you. I really appreciate you taking the extra step to do this for me.
Well, you're very welcome, and I appreciate your time. So thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and get started with submitting the bank, and you are going to hear from me tomorrow afternoon.
That sounds great. Talk to you then.
All right. How about a little applause for Carrie, everybody? Give a little appreciation for Carrie. You did a well done job. That's a great example of a virtual closing, right? Of walking through the first part of that. Here's going to be the assignment for the group, all right? We're going to give you these slides. In our next session, we're going to practice this first part, which is opening up the meeting and talking about the product they've bought. Have them determine the outcome they're trying to accomplish, and encouraging them to annotate, right? Encouraging them to circle that way. You have to set it up. Make a note, everybody, if you would, on your notes with your pen. Put there, they need to open up view option. Write that down. Annotate, and then they hit draw or stamp. So it's view option, annotate, and then draw or stamp. Carrie did a great job with that, of guiding Tyler to the tool, okay? So we want to guide them there and do that. Then once we do that part, you may have noticed also that when Carrie was doing this part, while she was clearing all her drawings, she was also annotating again the questions. Did you notice her doing that? Nod your head if you saw her doing that, right? So she gets the attention to question number 1, question number 2, right? Then she went down here to question number 3, right? We want to cover all 4 questions. And here's a chance also to ask a follow-up question. So practice those techniques. And she was typing the answers too, by the way, with her text tool right here. So she would type it in. 1 second. My keyboard has a little delay. Now it's not going to type for me. Well, she was typing in the information while she was demonstrating that. So she did a really, really good job with that. All right, well, I got right up almost top of the hour, everybody. So questions you may have, give me an idea if you've got a question on this. And Tyler, my machine's frozen up. So if there's a question, tell me who has it and call them, I'll help them answer it. There we go, I'm back now. Okay, so questions, anybody? On what we're gonna have you do for next time? Okay, so I don't see a lot of questions on this. So we just want you to practice doing it. What we're gonna do is in the beginning of the meeting is put you into pairs and let you try to do that. Are we gonna get the full version of Zoom in case calls go long? I'm gonna say probably so. What do you think, Tyler?
Absolutely. So
yeah, you got 45 minutes right now, so you have to upgrade it, right?
Yep.
Very good. All right, everybody. Hey, I'll tell you, I hope if you've had fun today, raise your hands today. You had a good time today, okay? I really enjoyed working with you. We'll see all of you next week. Remember, your assignment is to work through the first 3 slides, right? I'm sorry, this slide number 1. Come on. There we go. 2, 3, and then the final slides down. There's 4 slides to talk about. We'll practice probably the first 3 next week. And we're going to give you the recording of this also to review it so you can watch the recording, go over it that way, make sure you're all prepared, and we'll see you all next time, all right? Thank you all very much. Great job today, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Carrie and the team.
Thank you, guys.